I'll tell you why I'm not talking to Tim Brown. Should Tim Brown come by here?
Tim Brown is right here.
No, Tim Brown's not right here.
Yes, he is right here.
I say no to Tim Brown.
Why do you say no? You're not saying no to Tim Brown.
I'll tell you why. 1987. 1987, a young man named Carton decides to go to Syracuse University. We have a stud quarterback. His name is?
Donovan McNabb. I don't know.
No, not Donovan McNabb.
Who?
Last name McPherson.
Okay,
Donnie Mack.
Yes.
That's right.
Donnie Mack, that's my boy.
We open zip it, Brown. We open up the season with a blowout win against Penn State at the Dome. Tommy Kane goes off for like 200 yards before he assaulted an officer and went to jail.
Okay.
And here's the deal.
That's your problem.
And we are about to celebrate the first Heisman Trophy winner since, I think, Floyd Little. And along comes Tim Brown with his olive oil skin and his handsome charm and his great hands and speed, and he robs the Heisman from our guy. So Tim Brown,
You know, everybody feels like that from Syracuse, except Don McPherson.
you're right, he don't care. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you guys?
What is Tim Brown up to today, other than King Sawan? We'll get to that.
Yeah,
But what do you do to spend the time? You bored? Your family wants you out of the house? What do you do these days?
No, that's definitely not the case. You know, I have a lot going. I wrote a book couple years ago, The Making of a Man, How Men and Boys Honor God and Live with Integrity. So I've been traveling the country, speaking at men's groups and
about fatherhood more than anything, or
no,
about
it's
what?
really about manhood. You know, just men trying to be real men instead of being what people.
Why did you write
think
that
us to
book?
be. I just felt, man, over my career, being in the NFL for 17 years, you see a lot of, shadiness and guys trying to be something that they're not instead of being who we are called to be,
That's interesting to me. So were you ever you guys talk about locker room stuff a lot, but was that a confliction for you where you try to live your life one way and you dealt with guys who you could never reach, but boy, they were great ball players, so you supported them?
Yeah, I think early in my career, man, I lived just like everybody else in the locker room, and maybe the last 8 or 9 years of my career, it was different. There was only a conflict probably for a year or two because everybody was like, Tim, really? Everybody's tried to do this. You're not going to make it. Come on, let's go to the, let's go do what we do and, get the girls and do all this stuff. But I think once everybody realized I was, serious about what I was doing,
17 years, that tells you how
respect.
serious you are.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
the thing about it is we were just talking about the potential Hall of Famer class this year.
Sure.
2 wide receivers on that class list right now, and that would be Terrell Owens and Torrey Holt.
Mm-hmm.
Both are, I believe, more than worthy of getting in.
No
And
doubt.
I know last year Terrell didn't get in. He was upset. I know you direct messaged him on his Twitter account and said, just relax. It's going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Do you think this year is the year that Terrell Owens gets into the Hall of Fame?
It should be. It should be, no doubt about it. It's just a matter of how many people did he piss off last year. Because he definitely said some things about the voters that, I talked to a couple of voters and they were not happy about that.
But it shouldn't really.
I'm saying it should. But the thing about this thing that's so I guess bad is the word is they don't ever have to say who they voted for.
Right.
So I can remember those couple of years that I was up. My guy who was going around the room would say he would go around, hey Boomer, did you vote for Tim? I voted for Tim. Hey Chris, I voted for Tim.
Everybody voted for Tim,
but Tim didn't get in.
Baseball is
so
changing that. Baseball is saying no more anonymous voting, so you're going to be accountable for who you voted for, so players and fans know why a guy did or didn't get in.
Well, this is a much smaller group, and here's the thing that I would say. Regardless of the way that Terrell Owens may have been perceived off the field or the antics on the field at times, and that's my quarterback, and, taking after Donovan McNabb after their Super Bowl deal and all this other crap, at the end of the day, was he one of the most productive, difficult covers in the NFL at the wide receiver position should be all that matters.
Look, he changed. Look, I believe this. I believe Jerry Rice did what he did, and you have the group of guys who come under the Jerry Rice umbrella. I believe Randy Moss changed the game because he was the first small forward to start playing receiver.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then a lot of small forwards say, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. So now you have all these 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" guys trying to play receiver, or playing, I shouldn't say try. But the thing with Terrell Owens, he was 6'3", 220, but he was a beast.
He was.
I mean, he rarely went deep, but his whole thing was he was going to control the middle of the field.
He was Julio Jones.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And but more physical, I believe. I saw him and Charles Woodson battle I think it was 2000, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I mean, and he got the best of Charles that day, but the battle was just unbelievable because I mean it was so physical. It was only like a 15-yard area right there. So look, the guy, just shut up. Just shut up.
You're going
and let your play.
Towards the end of your career, things changed. There's a dynamic. Maybe it started with Keyshawn when he first came in with the throw me the damn ball and all that stuff. But the wide receiver now, and there's probably more talent. I mean, great talent than maybe in the history of the league at the wide receiver position. It's now about, it's not good enough just to be a great wide receiver. It's got to come with personality.
Sure.
Right? And if you're not, and cornerbacks are the same way now too. And that's a big change from when you played. Like you guys kept your mouths, tight. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, we played the game and did what we were supposed to do. I think if Jerry would have been, a guy who did a lot of trash talking or did those kind of things, and then maybe a lot of guys would have felt as if they had to do that. And I think now guys do feel as if that. But then you have a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, who is a classic.
He's a throwback.
Yeah,
he's a throwback
absolutely.
guy. Yes.
So
and Julio Jones, by the way, is too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is not a guy that puts himself out there. He's not an Odell Beckham Jr. He's not an Antonio Brown. Give me your 2 cents on those two guys and the things that they have gone through the last couple of years. Not just on the field with the Josh Norman issue with Odell Beckham, but also off the field and some of the crazy stuff that they get themselves into.
Yeah, and really, man, and we were talking about this earlier today, you got to have good people around you. You got to have, if it's not mama, daddy, a sister or brother, you got to have an uncle, or you got to have a PR guy or somebody to say, look, boy, you can't do this, man. You just got to have somebody who you say, no matter what, I'm going to listen to this person. You can't just be making these decisions by yourself all the time, because when you're an athlete, especially when you're young and with all the money these kids have these days, they have the ability to do anything.
It's amazing. It's really
or you get a fall guy like Chris Carter said, and you just have a buddy to blame it on. I didn't.
That's Chris Carter said that, but Chris Carter said that. Yeah, you got to have a fall guy.
You need a fall guy.
Yes, in the group. Who is the best wide receiver in the NFL today?
There's no doubt. To me, it's Julio Jones.
It is.
Really? I've been saying that for the last couple of years, though. I mean, I always thought that because look, you can have a big guy who can run down, jump over people's head, and catch balls. But when you have a big guy who wants to make left-hand turns or right-hand turns in the middle of the field, and I mean that play that he made last week versus Green Bay, where the kid was holding him and throwing him and two catch balls.
That's not fair. I mean, why are you playing him man coverage like that in that situation?
You should be double cover him.
So here's a good question for you. Talking to the great Tim Brown. He's here with King's Hawaiian, by the way. First time ever they're going to have an ad during the Super Bowl, and they've got irresistible bread and a brand new line of Hawaiian-inspired barbecue sauce.
Are you in the commercial?
No, not this year.
I don't see any bread or sauce with you, Timmy.
Yeah, thanks.
We got some sauce if you want.
Bring the sauce over. Let me see the sauce.
I need the sauce.
I need the lava sauce. Bring over
what do we
the
have?
sauce.
We have the pineapple or the lava?
Take me to the volcano.
This is the volcano right here, baby.
Which one is this
Big
one?
Island lava. I need the sweet pineapple.
Big Island lava,
that's the one I love.
The Big Island lava.
Yes.
Can Timmy handle the lava?
No, that's why Timmy has the sweet pineapple.
So you wrote a book about being a man and all that stuff.
Yes.
Here's my question for you. We have a guy in town who's not even arguably the single best pure athletic talent New York has had in a long time. And I say that about any athlete, any sport. And that, of course, is Odell Beckham.
Sure.
And I get the sense that a guy like you could help a guy like that. When you watch Odell Beckham and all the pure, unadulterated gift of talent,
sure,
that comes along with a lot of nonsense, like the doping thing with the tent, with the thing and all that. Do you want to reach out, grab a kid like that? And what would you say to Odell Beckham if you could counsel him? And we're going to role play here. Boomer's going to be Odell. You be Tim Brown. I'll just be the good Samaritan that introduces you.
Well, first of all, I need to take my shirt off and lay on a boat with Justin Bieber.
Don't do that. You'll scare the audience. So here we go. You'll scare the audience. No one needs that. Please.
Why don't you just relax?
I'm saying you didn't bring your bra. Here we go.
What do you got?
Hold on.
What do you got for me?
Hey, Timmy, I want to introduce you to Odell Beckham. Odell, it's my dear friend Tim Brown. Why don't you guys chat?
I would tell you exactly what James Lofton told me. Do what I do. Just emulate what I do and just get through this first 3 or 4 games, and then it'll all come to fruition for you.
So James was your mentor.
Oh, God. I mean, James Lofton was, now he told me to do what he did on the field.
Right.
Don't pay attention to some of the stuff he was doing. But no, it was great to have and that's the problem that these guys have is, even if you come in, you're cruise, and you may want to take a kid like that under your belt, you really can't, because their level, when they come into the league now, they're so big already, instead of, coming in humble, and so it's a very difficult thing. But, look, this kid is so great. He has so many opportunities. And
he can only hurt himself, though.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, why, and Josh Norman is walking around here today, why would you allow this kid to bother you?
Yeah, but they went after each other for whatever reason. Young guys, you don't know what they're saying to each other on the field. I'm sure you had a few of those guys in your life that you played against.
But you know what, Boomer? I love when guys talk, because I always felt like if you were dumb enough to come out here and talk during a national football game, you have to be scared. You got to be scared.
Right.
So I never, I love when a guy talk, because I never said a word to anybody. Well, maybe Rodney Harrison, but that's something totally different.
Well, everybody said something to Rodney Harrison because he was dirty. But, it's interesting. I was reading that. I do believe that Odell Beckham Jr. has reached out to, believe it or not,
go ahead,
I think Chris Carter. I think he's reaching out.
I saw that same story. That means his head's in the right place. He's looking at a veteran. He just may not be the right guy, but maybe Chris has also changed.
Yeah,
his
well,
tune
I think Chris
having
understands what he has to do. But look, he needs some kind of guidance, man, and just calm down. Just bring this thing down a level, and just try and live a normal life as much as you possibly can, and everything will work out for you.
How do you feel about the Raiders potentially moving to Vegas?
Look, I want this team to be someplace where they have a stadium that's comparable to everybody else in the league. Whether that's Oakland, whether that's Vegas. I actually thought they should move to San Antonio, because because look, I mean,
they're saying San Diego's reaching out to them.
Well,
now,
absolutely. Yeah.
If it doesn't
just
happen,
find a home and stay there. Yeah, that's what you want. Right?
And of course, everybody wants that to be Oakland. But if Oakland can't afford it, then let's go someplace where they can afford it.
They lost. Looks like they lost funding in Vegas for right now. But it's a team in
but they're back,
transition,
though, man.
for sure.
The Raiders are back, though.
Yeah, this team is going to be really strong, man, with Carr and Cooper and everybody else they have, the
Khalil
Murray
Mack.
and Khalil, and it's going to be a good football team, and they got a good coach. I mean, I think Jack has done a great job.
It's a shame it happened with Derek Carr this year, because when you take a look at the AFC side of the playoff ledger, so many, two of the starting quarterbacks, Tannehill and Derek Carr, go out. They get injured, and then basically their teams have no chance to win.
No chance.
And it's unfortunate, but I would say they're back. I would say they're going to be back for quite some time, because Derek Carr is a great football player.
Check out the original King's Hawaiian. They got sauces, they got bread, and they got a commercial this year. So if you haven't heard about them before, you will. Before we let you go, Timmy, obviously you hung on to get you needed that 100th touchdown.
Yeah.
All right, I get it. That's a big number. 99.
I heard that.
99, no good. 100. I got 100 touchdowns. You don't. But here's the question: does it burn you to be 66 yards shy of 15,000? Is that a problem?
Big time.
It does.
Yes.
That kills you, right?
And 6 short of 1,100 catches. I was really mad at John Gruden, because I caught my 100 touchdown like week 3 versus the Raiders, matter of fact, back in Oakland. But I felt like, okay, well, I'm going to definitely get to 1,100 catches. And there were some things that happened in Tampa, and he was like, look, dude, I just can't play you anymore. I was like, what? Wait, I'm 6 catches away from – I was hot at him for a minute about that, because –
6 catches away from –
We're 4-12. It doesn't matter. Get me the freaking ball.
I want the ball, exactly. See, people forget that he actually went to Tampa.
Yeah, my last year.
So have you not spoken to Gruden? Like, if you saw him now, would you punch him out?
We're super cool.
You're good for sure? That could be a new chapter in the book.
There's always
Holding
something.
grudges, not a bad thing. Anyway, it's good seeing you, man. Thanks
Good
for coming in.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
That's the great
Yes,
Tim
sir.
Brown, Hall of Famer Tim Brown, and check out King's Hawaiian. If you have not heard of it, I smelled it. I will taste test them all, but it seems like a solid sauce. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Tim Brown,
Tim,
everybody.
take it easy,
Coming
man.